First, let's explain to our audience who the players here are. Jared Bernstein was the chief economist to Vice President Biden. Now, under President Biden, he serves as a member of the White House Council of Economic Advisors. Bernstein made it a point to say during his appearance in the White House press briefing room yesterday that it was not a victory lap. Still, Bernstein touted data from AAA and other sources, charts and statistics and graphs to show that gas prices are down 50 cents a gallon over the past 34 days, with Americans paying on average $25 less per month for gas than they were at its peak last month. Bernstein cited the president's release of 1 million barrels a day from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve and other measures that the administration has taken. All of this raised for this reporter the question of whether the president and his economic team were seeking to reap the political dividends when they have good economic data to share, while seeking to evade accountability when the numbers are less rosy.
Aren't you having it both ways, Jared? Because when the gas prices go up, it's got nothing to do with the president. When we see some decline, you want him to get the credit.
Look, I think that there's no both-way thinking here at all. I think that there has been a consistent, I think, pressure on this White House to try to do everything it could to ameliorate inflationary pressures, and the president has reacted from the beginning. So what did he do? He put his head down and got to work and got us to work. He then presided over the largest historical release of barrels of oil from the Strategic Reserve, 180 million barrels. Then he talked to global partners to get them to kick in another 60 million. So
it was Putin's fault. When they're coming down, he gets the credit.
Yeah, I very much disagree with that framing. I think what's happening here is a president who is working tirelessly to address the largest constraint, probably the toughest constraint facing American households right now, the budgetary impacts of these elevated prices. And we're showing you here today some real results, partially that partially derived from concrete efforts he's taken.
Bernstein noted that 20,000 gas stations across 30 states right now are charging under $4 per gallon of gas. However, he neglected to mention the administration's own data, which show that gas prices on average today are still more than $2 higher than on the day Mr. Biden took office. Bob?
Let me ask you a question, James. Did they call on you?
No, I had to practice the special art of vocal projection, succinct phrasing, and split-second timing to know when you might have an opening. But it's clear, the press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, has made it abundantly clear she's never going to call on me on these briefings. So I'm reduced to this form of questioning. I'd prefer it to be otherwise, but
of course.
At least we have some answer for the American people.
Yeah, absolutely, and a legitimate question. And what really got me also, James, is he started motioning for her to come back. He had his fill of actually being challenged, and he said to KJP, it's like, come on back. He couldn't handle the pressure you put on him.
The fact is, Bob, it shows poor staffing, because Jared Bernstein is an eminent economist. He's a first-rate mind.
He is.
But this was an eminently predictable question, and he should have been prepared by his staff for it.
Absolutely. You're also following some of the world's chess pieces, if you will, around the world. Putin and Biden. What's going on?
Yeah, well, today, Bob, marks only the second foreign trip that Russian President Vladimir Putin has undertaken since commencing this protracted and bloody invasion of Ukraine in February. It follows forays that he made last month to Tajikistan and Turkmenistan. This trip is more ambitious both in geographic and diplomatic scope. President Putin was warmly greeted by the Iranian president, Ibrahim Raisi, in Tehran today. Raisi is soon to mark his first anniversary in office. U.S. officials charged last week that the Raisi regime has been offering to supply Russia with armed drones that the Kremlin can use in the Ukrainian offensive. Putin also met today with the Turkish President Recep Erdogan in Tehran. Turkey is that rare entity, a NATO member state with close contacts with Moscow. However, at various points, the government in Ankara has actually supported the Ukrainians in this conflict, including by sending drones to Kyiv. Senior aides to President Biden say this trip by President Putin represents a desperation move as the Western sanctions imposed since the invasion of Ukraine have started to take their toll. They say the Russian economy is due to shrink this year by double digits.